Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is August the 14th, 2015, and I just wanted to share some things going on in the garden and share some of the things that I'm doing, as well as already preparing for fall gardening, if you could believe it or not. So right there you see my one and only pumpkin that's currently growing. And this is the Mammoth King I've showed you in previous videos, and it's doing really good. And don't know how big and heavy that is. It's got to be probably 15 to 20 pounds, I would guess, but could be more. And it's the only pumpkin on this Mammoth King. I've taken off other vines that are growing because I want this to become the biggest it can possibly be. And showing you different perspectives here. And the plant is in relatively good health. You know, you can't expect all this humidity and everything in our area not to take its toll on the plants. I've had good fortune to be able to find the squash bug eggs on the insides when they have appeared. The tool material that you see covering the pumpkin has done a pretty good job. It's it's not 100% proof because these squash bugs will find, and they will find any way and every way they can to get inside of your pumpkin plant and devour it. But so far so good. I'll show you a male flower right there that's bloomed this morning, and show you some tomatoes still growing. And this has some water issues, I think, looks like. But I'm still getting lots of tomatoes up here on this one plant right here. So that's doing pretty good. You can see I have other tomatoes in there. Still growing along pretty good. So these will be here till, the first frost date, which in our area is around November 15th. Okay, let me quickly move on. Oh, looks like a ripe tomato. Oh, it looks like it's splitting. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. The good, the bad, and the ugly, huh? Well, I might be able to slice that up and cut out the bad parts and whatnot. Let's go set this down here on the trampoline real quick. And show you here one of my other pumpkin plants. This is a Big Max. I'm sorry for the video here because maybe that's a little bit better. This is the Big Max, and it hasn't shown any signs of female flowers yet along the vine. And I had some squash bug issues in there today. They got in because I did find an opening that was pretty big. I could fit my whole hand and arm in there, and they were there. So I got rid of them and then checked the leaves for eggs, and everything was clear. So we're good to go. Let me finish showing off the other pumpkins real fast because those are really not the star of the show right now, I guess, if I can say a star. Here is my Mr. Wrinkles pumpkin plant here, and a while ago there was a main vine that was coming out through here, and it was all the way up here, and I had to cut that out and pull it out because it was rather diseased. The leaves were crinkled, savoyed like cabbage leaves, but on Savoy cabbage that's supposed to be that way. But this one, on pumpkins, they're not supposed to be like that. The leaves are supposed to look healthy, like that one right there in dead center, fully opened and looking good. And this whole vine was nothing but crinkly leaves, and I'm like, I better cut that out. So I did, and it has other vines going, but again, no females have even begun to show themselves. So they, I don't know, they better start showing themselves soon. There may not be a whole lot of time. We still got about half of August, all through September and October, so there is time. But I would like for them to start doing their thing. Over here, I made some decisions. Woo! Look at there. Hello. You're on camera, buddy. And anyways, I had two Howden plants, one in that one and one over there. And as you can see, this one I pulled this morning. It was a little more, just wasn't as healthy. And I knew I was going to have to make a decision sooner or later as to which one I was going to pull. And I kind of figured all along it was going to be this one, because it just from the beginning I could just look at it and I can tell which one had a little bit more vigor to it. And so I pulled it, and the female that was on there started shriveling up and aborting itself, so it was time for that to go. And the one over in here, the Howden pumpkin variety over here, is doing really good. I have seen at least two females on here on two separate vines, so that's pretty good. I've gone inside, got inside here this morning. I did find a squash bug that got inside. It's rare, but I found them and I got rid of him. I checked for more eggs. I didn't find any, so he was probably a male waiting for a female. And so like I said, I redirected some of the vines. I've used PVC pipe, but you use what you have available to redirect those vines. You can use popsicle sticks, pencils, anything that you can stick in the ground that will turn the vines and aim them in the direction you want them to go. So this time I just happen to have some PVC pipe, and I left two or three of them in there for future use. So it's doing really good. And that's a very healthy Howden plant, and hopefully I will get those pumpkins to set. Like I said before, usually the first two or so females usually abort themselves. That's not uncommon. So don't despair. The peppers, a lot has been harvested. About 3 or 4 days ago, I harvested a whole Walmart bag, one of those plastic Walmart bags, full of mostly yellow bell peppers, but a little bit of red bell peppers also in there. That was, and in fact, the bag was overflowing with peppers because I just had so many. So tonight when I'm over at my mom and dad's for family night, and I'll be giving away some peppers. And you can see right here, it's a good pepper that's probably ready to come off. In fact, it is. And here it comes live. So look at that. Nice. Not my biggest, but a good solid, firm, no bug damage, fully ripened. There you go. And if I had some eggs, I'd make an omelet with it. And you can and take a look. Already have flowers, and there are a few others. I'm not saying it's in full bloom, but I do have some more flowers that are popping up. And I just go in there and pollinate them. My thumb or finger will just rotate it around and around. And here's another one down here. And just do the same. And this helps you to get a better harvest, because though they are self-pollinating, it doesn't hurt to go in there and perform and be the doctor here. And there's the beginnings of one right here, a pepper that's already been fertilized and going. So it's already making a second and third round. Okay, so peppers are doing really well. Lots of green peppers, waiting for them to ripen up. I've had very good luck, fortune with my peppers this year, just like last year. And it was a quick story. I'm a school teacher, if you didn't already know. I'm an elementary school teacher, and I went to a class the other day and it was a garden class. And it was how to like incorporate, use your garden to teach various lessons, whether it's on writing or reading or science and math out that you can use in a garden, measuring the height of plants from one week to the next, and then you graph it and things like that. So you can use your garden to do all kinds of things, science, social. I don't know about social studies so much, but science, math, reading, writing. So that's what the class was all about. How to use a garden to do these things, to bring education alive more. And it was kind of interesting because the school I was at, they had of course, their garden, and they have a fabulous garden. And I went out there, and it was, they had pumpkins and gourds and everything, and this one gourd plant was extremely healthy and beautiful. And I just started talking to the other teachers that were there as long as with me, and the instructor of the whole class itself knew me, and we had conversed via email about pumpkins. Excuse me. I think the allergies are starting. And anyhow, uh, she knew I was pretty knowledgeable about pumpkins and things like that, and I was giving a couple little tips, about female flowers. How do you recognize female flowers? How do you know when they're going to be blooming the next day? 99% guarantee. And hold on, I feel another sneeze coming. Excuse me. And it was interesting how a lot of the teachers didn't know these things, but that's okay because you know they got their lives, and I do my thing, they do their thing. So it was kind of interesting how they were tuning into what I was saying, and they were really showing some interest in. I had one teacher was like, "What was that again? How do you know when they're going to bloom? How do you know when how do you know that's a female flower again?" So I was basically doing an on-site tutorial a little bit, and it was kind of fun and cool at the same time to be able to pass along some knowledge to other people. And who knows, word of mouth gets around, and you get recognized, or people start knowing about you through your videos and through things that you've done other places, and it's just kind of cool and interesting how that happens. And it's going on whether you realize it or not. And then on one day, someone says, "Yeah, I heard about you. So and so told me about you." I'm like, "Really? Huh? That was like 2 or 3 years ago." So it's kind of cool. Okay, so back to this stuff here. Sorry about that. This is the neat little story I had to share. Let me go over here to the watermelons. I'm having some luck, but not as much as I had last year. My first time growing was last year, watermelons. You can see a couple down there. They're very oddly shaped, and maybe they'll start to fill out more and plump up more as time goes along. I got about maybe four of them, and but let me show you one of the things I've talked before in previous videos about my pumpkin hammocks that I've made. In fact, that was one of the things I shared with the people at the other teachers at the class I was at. And here is my pumpkin hammock. You can see the rope. The rope's going down here, and then it goes all the way up, ties up to the trellis. And inside is a watermelon. Now I know it's my pumpkin hammock, but this year I'm going to call it my watermelon hammock. So this is kind of a cool looking, oddly shaped thing. It kind of looks like it was shaped like a gourd for a while, but it's starting to fill out some. And so this pumpkin hammock or watermelon hammock will allow this to expand and grow and support it. It's already carrying some of the weight, and it will continue to do so that it doesn't rip the whole plant down and destroy the fruit. So it was time to get that up and going, and that's what I did before I came on air this morning. Okay, and you can see the watermelons there, Mo and Larry. Curly's around there somewhere. I did have to get, there he is. Straight back there. Right further back there, right where my finger is. He's back there. And so I have 4 growing. And anyhow, I wanted to show you those kind of things. And on the next, take you over to my irrigation system that I spent a good part of half my day yesterday doing. Was getting some of this irrigation. This was one of my pet projects that I wanted to get done earlier in the spring, early summer, just never got to it. So I ran this irrigation. I tied it to, these are my blackberry plants, by the way, and I have to get in here, do some major pruning, and get these cleaned up. And hopefully this irrigation system will next year allow me to keep my blackberries. I lost a lot of them this year as a result of possibly as a result of that heat wave we had, because it was like, you know, one day everything was great, 2 or 3 days later, boom, they were all shriveled up and gone. And then it happened to coincide with this heat wave that we had. So I'm hoping this will prevent this from happening next year, if it was the heat wave that did it. Hopefully it wasn't a disease that attacked them, because if it was a disease, it attacked a whole gamut of them. And I just have a hard time believing a disease spreads that fast and kills them that quickly on such, you know, 3 or 4 different varieties of blackberries. So my gut tells me that this was a heat issue. So anyways, basically all I did, I'll show you what I did. I ran the line down. I tied the line on at various points with string to the wire trellis, and I made some irrigation lines here and just popped them in. And down at the bottom I have these these are not Mr. MR period, but Mr. MISTER spray nozzles, and it does pretty good. And it, you know, ideally I should have some of these other emitters that spray a 45-degree down angle like I have in the pumpkin area, because they are designed specifically for fabric pots or pots in general. So this is not the perfect setup, but I wanted to check these misters out and see how well they did, and they do pretty good and everything. So you can see they're on all my others as well, and of course it wasn't without its issues. And show you these blackberries that are still growing on here. Okay, and I did, well, let me just continue on. These are the blueberries. Now they've already harvested and they're done, but I ran the irrigation in there, and I ran the same system, but I didn't have to really put the lines down, the tubes, and have them hang down like I did on the blackberries. These I just popped the Mr. emitters right into the line, and they did just fine. You know, a few adjustments here and there, and you know, some mistakes that were made that I tried to correct. I know I saw what I was just thinking about a moment ago. I saw some blackberries over here just yesterday, and 1 or 2 of them looked like they were ready to be harvested. And I don't know if I can find them, but wait, here we go, right in here. Look at that. Now, how you know these are ready, not just because they turn black, but if they come right off, look at that. I barely did that. It's kind of small to medium, but let's see. Ooh, look at that big, humongous spider. Look at that thing. My head was touching the web. Let's see if I can get a good shot of him without the light being in your eye. Look at that huge spider. Holy moly. I'm glad you're not aggressive towards me, buddy. Because I wouldn't have liked that. But let's taste this blackberry. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was perfect. Oh, what a nice treat. What a nice treat to have that. Now I got to clean up these blackberries because what'll happen, you see this new growth right here? This is going to be next year's fruit for next year. But if these touch the ground and make contact with the ground and stay that way for a little bit, they will start to put down roots. This growing tip will stop putting down leaves and turn them into roots. And then they will grow a new plant in the ground. And that's how you can propagate blackberries. And I think blueberries work the same way. But that's my next project. Next project to get working on is getting these blackberries cleaned up. Prune them out, the bad stuff. Tame and train the new stuff. And get it off the ground so that not having to deal with this thing trying to form new plants. Okay, so what was I going to say? Anything else up here? No, I think we're good with this. Oh, I did forget to show you one little thing over here on the apple trees. I did also run the irrigation here, and I have two emitters, one on each side. You know, Mr. shooting down the water down here to keep these apple trees good, because that was one of my issues I was having, was just not getting enough water to my trees. They dry out very fast in here, so I had to do that to keep them going. Other things I'm just noticing with the apple trees. Well, first of all, it seems like the Fuji tree is doing a little bit better than the Honeycrisp, generally speaking. Having some discoloration in the leaves and stuff I'm not sure about. Some of this darker green, lighter green stuff. You know, maybe a nutrient deficiency, maybe over fertilization, but I haven't really fertilized these things. But I did yesterday. I added some more liquid fertilizer to the fertigation system, and so when I water, I'm also fertilizing. So that's feeling pretty good. I see fruiting spurs that are starting to grow, what appears to be fruiting spurs starting to grow on these branches. So I could potentially get some flower blossoms and potentially get some fruit next year. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for these fruiting spurs to really grow so that they're ready to bloom the following season. It could be another 2 or 3 seasons before I see the first blossoms on these apple trees. I don't know. It's a learning experience, and I hope you will stay along and come along with me as we learn about these apple trees together. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to talk about is fall. The fall garden. Okay, I'm already starting some of my plants, and I'll have to take you up front. But basically, what I've got going on is some spinach, and that's Bloomsdale long spinach, I believe it's called. I also have some, what else do I got going on? I got some lettuce, my black-seeded Simpson, as I've grown in the past. Oops, passed right by it, didn't I? My black-seeded Simpson. This is my tray with my seeds and stuff. So I have, like I said, the black-seeded Simpson lettuce really grows great here. It's a loose leaf lettuce, not a heading lettuce, and it does really, really good. And it tastes good, and the kids love it. Let's see, what else do I have growing on here that I've forgotten about? Oh, I don't even remember what I had these labeled. Oh my gosh, did I forget to label these things? I think I may have. At least some of them. So I have lettuce, I have spinach. Oh, I have the Jersey Wakefield cabbage, which I think that's what these are in here. So Jersey Wakefield cabbage is my first time trying that particular variety of cabbage. I have about, I think, 8 pots of that with different seeds, with all the seeds in them. I'm actually growing some pepper plants too. Some of the peppers I tried to grow earlier in the year, back in January and February, that didn't ever come to fruition. Canary Yellow was one of the varieties, and Horizon was one of the other varieties. So I had some extra seeds left over, and I'll just put them in there just to see what I get, to see if they'll actually germinate and grow, see if I'll have better luck. And then what I'm going to do, if I do have some luck with them, I'll put them in some pots, and then when it comes time to bring them inside, when fall hits, I'll put them under my grow light inside the garage and keep them going through the winter time. And I'll have fresh bell peppers, even as if I didn't already have a bunch already to put in freezer bags. So I'm already starting my seeds, like I said. Lettuce, cabbage, spinach, and there's all kinds of other things that you can be growing for fall. Radishes, broccoli, leeks. And a lot of people like to start growing their onions now in the fall so that they'll overwinter and be ready for a good spring harvest. I have some seeds, I may try to grow some just to see if I can get a harvest before the fall hits. Who knows, maybe I will get lucky. We'll see. So, oh, I'm also growing some dill inside the house in a pot. I've never grown dill before, and I'm like, I want to try something different. And that's always one thing about gardening. Try to grow something new and different every single year, so that it keeps your interest going in gardening. It keeps things alive to try something new and experiment with different things. That's what makes it so fun and therapeutic. All right, so from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, you guys have a great day. Thank you for subscribing, and if you have any comments or questions, please post them below. Bye.